The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. This movie is brought to you by Peter Jackson, the director of the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, which I'm a big fan of. I love that. I love that trilogy. I love those movies. I thought they were epic. They were entertaining. They were mesmerizing and they delivered on every level, possible. And they are one of my that trilogy is my favorite, trilogy of all time, along with the Dark Knight trilogy. But I thought that one was a massive cinematic achievement. And Peter Jackson, hats off to him for that great effort. And now he's back again into the world of Middle Earth with The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey, which is the first of three movies, adapted from the novel The Hobbit, written by the late J.R.R. Tolkien. This movie is about the adventures of Bilbo Baggins, a younger Bilbo Baggins, played by British actor Martin Freeman, and it involves him going on an adventure with a group of dwarves to reclaim the lost city of Erebor, which is under the control of a fearsome dragon named Smaug. Now, before I begin, I like to let you know that this movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes long, which in my opinion which is a bit too long, considering the fact that they took a one novel and they split it into three parts and they stretched a lot of the storyline elements out, to try and to make it longer and all. The movie was way too long to begin with. The first hour of this movie, they spent so much time introducing characters, introducing the Shire and everything, and I felt that it dragged a bit. I was just sitting there thinking, that let's get to the good stuff. We okay, 20 minutes was okay. We've seen the Shire before. We know what the hobbits look like. Except maybe you could introduce the dwarfs and everything. But I thought an hour was a bit too long. I thought everything just dragged a bit, and it made everything, a bit too boring and all. So that was my first issue with this movie. My second issue with this movie was its pacing. I thought the pacing was pretty bad in my opinion. You see, there's one thing I think it's important to note that this movie, the running time of this movie and Dark Knight Rises are completely the same. The difference is that Dark Knight Rises had a multi-layer story with massive amounts of action to keep the audience entertained over the long period that are going to be in the theater. But this one just, they dragged a lot of the dramatic elements too long, and when we got to the action set pieces, and we're like, okay, we're finally to the movie. Then all of a sudden, we get to the talking part. It drags a bit long. I mean, the pacing it wasn't balanced at all. There were some parts that were just too slow and drawn out, for me, and I didn't really like that. It sort of, it was I don't know, it tainted my experience a bit. And getting to the performances now, Bilbo Baggins played by Martin Freeman. I thought Martin Freeman killed the role. I thought he owned the role of Bilbo Baggins. He was fantastic in the role. He was convincing. You could really relate with his character and everything. Richard Armitage, who played the elder dwarf, I think Thorin. So he was also fantastic in the role. Yeah, he was very fearsome. He was a badass. That guy was a badass. He was my favorite character in the film. I really enjoyed watching him. I was entertained by him. Gandalf the Grey, played by Sir Ian McKellen, as usual. That guy, he hasn't lost a beat. He hasn't lost a step at all. He was fantastic. As ever. He was fantastic in the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. He was fantastic here. Also returning characters such as Galadriel, played by Kate Blanchett. Lord Elrond, played by Hugo Weaving. You got Saruman, played by Christopher Lee. Benedict Cumberbatch, who voiced the dragon Smaug. I thought he did a fantastic job there, and I thought that almost everyone in this movie brought their A game to the table. Everybody was fantastic, and the circus as Gollum, that guy, I take my hat off to that guy. Honestly, that guy just keeps upping the ante with every performance. And Gollum, in this movie looked fantastic. I thought, I think it's probably due to the, years gap. The second, the first time we saw Gollum was back in 2000, which was released back in 2002. So the technology has been improved since then. So this Gollum in The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, looks much better than that one. Not that that one looked horrible, that one looked great, but this one looks a lot more. If that one was good, this one was fantastic. It looked fantastic. It looked great, and I was very entertained by him. It was when he popped up on screen for the first time. I was like, oh yeah, we're back finally, because it was just one of my favorite characters from the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, and it was great to see him again. Now, let's get to the another major topic about this movie is the technical aspect, which I'm going to discuss in full detail now, because I've been on Rotten Tomatoes. I've been reading a lot of critic reviews and everything, and as of right now, I think was this 65 or 66% or something. And the reason why a lot of critics are slamming this movie is mainly because of the fact that Peter Jackson chose to shoot this movie using the 48 frames per second format instead of the traditional 24 frames per second format and all. And I think that for some critics, they chose to it really influenced their take on this movie because of the fact that they felt that the 48 frames per second was it felt fake. It felt like some sort of behind the scenes footage or something. It didn't feel real at all, that it was too crystal clear, that it was a bit weird and stuff. So for them, it ruined the movie experience for them. Personally, when I saw, so it was for that reason. After I'd seen it in IMAX, I logged in IMAX. I thought the shots looked fantastic. I thought the shots on Middle Earth, the Shire, they all looked great. But after I read the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, I decided to go see it again with 48 frames per second 3D. And at first, honestly, in the first hour of the movie, I had a hard time adjusting my eyes to the screen. But as the movie went, I got used to it. I think it's just something. This is the first time a movie has been released in that format before, so definitely you're going to feel some sort of it will feel strange to you, initially, because you've never seen a movie like that before. So I didn't really get why Peter Jackson was getting a lot of shtick from critics, for shooting it in that format, because I feel that since you haven't seen a movie in that format before, it's only normal for you to feel weird, seeing it, or for the screen or the projection or whatever to feel weird at first, because you have never seen anything like that before. So I got that. So as the movie went on, I got used to it, and I thought the experience wasn't bad at all. It wasn't as bad as they made it out to be, and I just felt that if more movies get released in this format, maybe they'll get used to it. It's just like when 3D first came out, a lot of people were skeptical about it. Then Avatar then came out, it sort of raised the bar, he elevated 3D, and people started to love it and all that stuff. I think that's the case with this one. If more movies get released in this format, I think people will get used to it and begin to appreciate the format a bit more. And from what I heard, I read in an article somewhere that James Cameron is looking at he's watching The Hobbit and saying, like, if the feedback from audiences is good, it's good to shoot Avatar 2 in 48 frames per second 3D. And if it does that, I think that would be fantastic, considering the world of Pandora and everything. I think it will the visual effects will be out of this world. Now, back to the technical aspects. I thought the cinematography was great. I thought Middle Earth looked fantastic. The Shire looked better than ever. I thought the visual effects were stunning. I was really, blown away by some of the locations, great locations, the mountains, the caves, everything just looked awesome. And I tip my hat to Peter Jackson for taking his time to come up with the best there is. And all the cinematography, the crew, the visual effects, the special effects, all of them did a fantastic job. The musical score by Howard Shore was great. He did the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I thought his musical score sort of it helped depict the nature of the story, the characters and what they were going through. And that's what a musical score is supposed to make. It's supposed to also, the thing about a movie is that you're already escaping into this world, and everything. The musical score is a way of telling, the story, the character story, and what they are going through and everything. I thought the music, really depicted that well, and I thought Howard Shaw's musical score was fantastic in this movie, top notch. Um, all around, I had a very good experience with this movie. It's not as bad as a lot of critics are making it out to be. I think a lot of critics were pretty harsh about this movie, and the reason that they were pretty harsh about this movie was because of the 48 frames per second, which got blown out of proportion. A lot of people were like, so I'm not going to kiss any critics ass and give this movie a scathing review because of some new format that people aren't used to yet. So I say give it time. With time they'll get used to it. So personally, generally, I had a great experience. At first, like I said before, the movie took a while to get going, but after when it got going, it never stopped, and I was entertained. You know, and I left the theater satisfied. So I give this movie a B plus. Fair enough and all. Apart from the grabs I had with it, on the whole, it was a satisfying, fulfilling experience, and I recommend you go see it. Just take 2 to 3 hours out of your day and escape into the world of Middle Earth. You'll come out refreshed. Go see this movie. I recommend it. It's a very good movie. Thanks for listening. Thank you for your attention. Take care.